Hey y'all, I got some shit that need to be said, okay? Okay, so tendernism. Everybody's been hearing about Mr. Tendernism, right? Unc from Destination Smokehouse, I believe the restaurant is called. Okay. Bottom line is, it's an uproar because a lot of people feel that Unc isn't being treated properly. They feel like he is being stolen from, so to speak, and they feel that he deserves his just due. A lot of the hoopla started when infamous influencer Keith Lee visited the restaurant and he wanted to tip Unc, I think $4,000 or $5,000, and he was turned away. And so that's when like a lot of people started talking about what was going on in the restaurant, about how Unc was being treated, how he's not in as many of the new videos anymore, how tendernism was trademarked, and you know how it's trying, you know, the whole brand is being stolen from Unc, right? So, okay, I wanted to know the background because everyone is just like pulling things out of the air. And I wanted to know the background of Unc and how, you know, the BBQ thing got started and where it came from and who's really the face of the recipes and the barbecue and, you know, and all of that. So I found a video that explained it all. It's a young lady who knew Unc before the whole Destination Smokehouse started, before the whole tendernism thing started, and she has some very interesting facts. So, y'all take a look.
Let's take a trip down memory lane when it comes to Destination Smokehouse. Now, y'all see this building in back of me? Well, some of y'all may not know, but this was actually the original location of Destination Smokehouse. It's in a town located called Hemet, California. For those of you who aren't familiar with the area, it's basically like the hills have eyes. It's a retirement community. Now, when I would visit my mom, I would come out here, and pretty much out in Hemet, Destination was the only place to eat at. My favorite menu item was the brisket Philly. It was the only thing that I would order. And I would always get my order to go because, y'all, it's the hills have eyes out here. So one day I'm ordering my food to go and in walks Mr. Tendernism himself. And mind y'all, this was before social media, this was before the hype, this was before the new owners bought the restaurant and moved it to Marietta. And this was such a sweet black man. And I asked some of the workers that were working there, I was like, who is this man? And they said, oh, you know what? He's been working here for years. He was one of the original chefs. And this good barbecue that you're tasting, it was actually his recipe. So according to the locals, from what I was told, rumor has it, is that it's Unc's recipe. Now, some of you may be thinking, why is this relevant? Why is this important? Well, when the new owners bought it over, I was a little disappointed because I thought, oh, well, maybe they're just expanding and they're going to keep this location in Hemet. Well, unfortunately, they didn't. So all of the employees that worked there were without a job because driving from Hemet to Marietta out here in the IE is just a lot for people. So we got a new location and still Unc's recipe. Now, the question is because he may have been the original chef or the cook, but it was his original intellectual property. So if he created the recipe, the new owner buys the restaurant, takes Unc's intellectual property to a new location, is he giving Unc his rights? Is he giving him the money that he deserves for his unique original recipe? Because if it weren't for Unc's recipe, then it would be no Destination Smokehouse. And I understand, like, I'm not trying to be in Unc's wallet. No one is debating what their financial situation or what their agreements are. This is important to our community because so many times, especially in melanated communities where we create something, we have an original idea and someone else capitalizes and colonizes off it. So for those of us that are invested in this whole narrative and this story, the concern is because this is a man's intellectual property. This is something that he probably had in his family generation recipe for years where you know he put his foot in it. is he getting the credit? Is he getting the rights that he deserves for creating something such as this? Because without Unc's recipe, if it is his original recipe, rumor has it that it is. I'm just speculating off of what came out of people's mouths that served me at the restaurant, the original restaurant. If it is, give him his rights to the recipe that he created, because if it weren't for Unc, there would be no Destination Smokehouse. And this also goes along the lines of colonization, capitalism, and exploiting people for their time, money, energy, and resources, and not fairly compensating them. This is actually the same concept of thinking that there isn't enough for everybody when we live in a world of abundance. And if the restaurant is benefiting financially off of this man's intellectual property, then it is only morally right to actually give him what he deserves. And, I just want to say to Unc, from somebody who has been down with your recipe from back in the Hemet, you got people that love you, that support you, that just want to see you do right. And we may understand, you might feel like you have a certain level of loyalty to this situation because, being from where you are, living out here, you probably live in Marietta now. That's a lot better than living in Hemet. But we want to let you know that loyalty has nothing to do with the king that you are. So if there is any manipulation going on, this is why the internet is coming for the situation. And if it's something as simple as just easily clearing it up, right? Rather than gaslighting and avoiding the conversation and still carrying on and using Uncle as the social media spokesperson. Because if you are a company, by the way, and you are having someone grow your social media account, there should be a monthly payment for that as well, right? Because influencers, as we are in the world of social media, actually come with a price too. So if it's not Unc's recipe and he is actually helping the business grow because of his unique persona, actually it's not even a persona, that's just who Unc is, then he should be rightfully compensated for that as well. That's all I'm saying. And I'm sure many of y'all would agree too. Let me know what you think in the comments.
I would have known he was here. I would have probably asked Edie to stop for a few seconds so we could go over there. That's what I would have done. But ever since I reached out to him, I've gotten zero response. I thought I was very respectful. From what I've watched from the review, it just didn't seem like he really captured what it's like when you come to this place. It's just disappointing that as popular as people can be on social media, people don't know everybody.
Had to redo this video because I was fucking up OG's name. It's TENDERNISM, so I wanted to make sure I got that right this time. The owner is a hater. He blocked that man's blessing, not only from meeting Keith Lee, but also from him receiving the $4,000, even though he didn't know he was going to receive it. But Keith Lee mentioned that he tried to give it to him, and the security guard would not take it. Because what do you mean if you knew that Keith Lee was outside, you probably would have paused the podcast? You should definitely want to do that so that man can have the opportunity to meet him. I bet you if Keith Lee came there to meet the owner, he would have 100% paused that podcast so he can go out there and take advantage of that. But he's a hater because no one is coming to see him. They are going there to meet Mr. Tendernism.
The reason why this whole Destination Smokehouse tendernism situation doesn't surprise me is because it's the same thing that happened with Paula Deen and Dora Charles. So Dora Charles worked with Paula Deen for like 22 years, alongside her, not under her, alongside her as a chef in the kitchen. And Paula Deen promised this woman, if I get rich, I'm taking you with me. If I get to the top, we both get to the top. But in exchange, Paula Deen wanted this woman's recipes, and she gave it to her. Gave Paula Deen all of her recipes, taught her how to cook and everything. Paula Deen ended up writing cookbooks using this woman's recipes. She ended up getting Food Network deals with this woman's recipe. And guess how much this woman made while she was working in Paula Deen's kitchen? $10 an hour. $10 an hour. And then she didn't even sue Paula Deen. Paula Deen got sued, but it wasn't by her. It was by somebody else who sued Paula Deen for hostile work environment and racism, because she heard Paula Deen over talking, saying that she wanted black chefs and black waitresses to cater like a wedding or a party she was having for one of her kids or whatever, and she wanted them to dress like slaves. But it just goes to show that people from that decade, people from that time, they lived differently. They don't question like superiority, especially when it comes to somebody who was white. And tendernism, Unc, aka, he's not the person to question it. Like, I bet you right now he doesn't see anything wrong with the situation. He doesn't see anything wrong with it. He doesn't see that there is a power imbalance. He doesn't understand that, because to him it's not clicking. We see it because we grew up in a different time. We've educated ourselves and we're more self-aware. But people like him and people like Dora Charles, who never sued Paula Deen, who still to this day will say and kind of admit that Paula really didn't do nothing to her. The only reason she spoke about it is because it came out. They don't see any wrong in what happened. They don't see they were treated wrong. They don't see it, and they probably never will.